Hello and welcome to How to Play Phase 10, presented by GatherTogetherGames.com. This video will cover how to play the card game Phase 10. The video will start with the general concepts and gameplay, and then get into more of the details for the game. The video will conclude with an example round. The game is played with 2 to 6 players. Each player is dealt 10 cards, 1 card at a time. The remaining deck is placed into the middle and the top card is flipped up to start the discard pile. The object of the game is to be the first player to complete each of the 10 phases. To complete a phase, players will have to create certain card combinations, including sets of cards with the same rank, runs of cards in sequential order, and cards of the same color. There are 2 special cards in the deck. First, the wild card, which can be used as any number or color, and second, the skip card. The player of the card will choose a player who will lose his next turn. Going back to the hand that was dealt earlier, I have flipped up each player's cards for you to see. In an actual game, you will keep your cards hidden from the other players. During the first phase, the players will try to get 2 sets of 3 cards with the same rank. The player left of the dealer plays first, or when playing with 2 players, the non-dealer is first to play. Each turn begins by the player either drawing the top card on the draw pile or the top card of the discard pile. Player 2 draws from the draw pile and gets a 3. Player 2 will keep the 3 and now has his first set of 3 cards in 3s. Each player's turn ends in a discard. Player 2 will discard an 11. Player 1 draws a 1 from the draw pile. The 1 does not match any of Player 1's cards, but he will keep it in order to discard his skip card. Player 2 is skipped and Player 1 gets to draw again. This time Player 1 draws a wild card. With 2 wild cards, Player 1 is able to form 2 sets of 3 cards in 9s and 5s. Once a player has completed a phase, he will lay down the combination into the middle. The round continues until a player has played all the cards in his hand. Player 1 ends his turn by discarding an 11. Player 2 draws a 10 from the draw pile and now has 2 sets of 3 cards in 3s and 10s. Player 2 lays his completed phase into the middle. After a player plays a completed phase, he can play leftover cards onto any phase in the middle. This is known as hitting, and Player 2 is able to hit on Player 1's 9s. Player 2 ends his turn with a discard. The players take turns playing, trying to get cards to hit into the middle. Skipping ahead, Player 1 draws a wild to hit into the middle and discards his last card to end the round. At the end of the round, players score points based on the cards remaining in their hands. Cards 1 through 9 are worth 5 points. Cards 10 through 12 are worth 10 points. A skip card is worth 15 points, and a wild card is worth 25 points. Player 2 had a 1 left and is given 5 points. The winner of the game is the first player to complete all 10 phases. If 2 or more players finish the 10th phase in the same round, the player with the lowest score wins the game. Get the Phase 10 Quick Guide through the link in this video's description and use it as a reference to help you learn as you play. Once a round is over, only the players that laid down a completed phase get to move on to the next phase in the next round. The players that did not complete the phase have to try for the same phase in the next round. Once a wild is laid down, it cannot be moved. When playing with more than 2 players, the player of a skip card can choose a player to lose his next turn. Once play reaches the player picked, he is skipped. If a skip card is the first card flipped up from the dealer, the player left of the dealer is skipped. Before playing a hit into the middle, you have to have played a completed phase. Continuing with the game examples shown earlier, Player 2 deals the cards for the next round. Since both players completed Phase 1 in the first round, they are both going to the second phase of a set of 3 cards and a run of 4 cards in this round. Player 1 goes first by drawing a 1 from the draw pile. Player 1 will keep the 1 and discard a skip. Player 2 is skipped and Player 1 goes again by drawing from the draw pile. Player 1 does not want the 3 drawn and discards it. Play moves to Player 2 and the rest of the round goes as follows. Player 2 draws a 7 that can be hit into the middle and discards his last card to end the round. Player 1 is given 10 points for the 2 ones left in his hand, and both players get to move on to Phase 3 in the next round. That wraps up how to play Phase 10. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and get more game tutorials by subscribing to our channel, Gather Together Games. Thanks for watching!